When they say that calling for a Green New Deal is, quote, too much or too extreme or too radical, no middle ground is right. Because I'm always curious, but I'm always curious when they say that, oh, it's too much. What do they actually mean by that? Is 100% clean and renewable energy too much? Is fighting for dignified jobs that pay people enough to live too much? Is proposing a solution on the scale of the climate crisis to solve it too much? No. But let me tell you what's too much for me. Here's what's too much for me. What's too much for me is politicians looking and allowing babies' blood to get poisoned in Flint for corporate profits. That is what is too much for me. What's too much for me is coal barons coming up to Washington, D.C., demanding bailout after tax break after bailout for themselves, and then not even paying their own miners' pensions and put their own miners' health care. That is what is too much for me. That is too much for me. What is too much for me is the fact that ExxonMobil knew exactly that climate change was real and man-made as far back as 1970, and instead of being part of the solution, they paid millions of dollars to lobby and lie and confuse the American public about it, endangering generations to come. That is too much for me. What is too much for me is the fact that in 1989, the year that I was born, the year that many of us were born, and in years after and right before, that politicians were first informed by NASA, that Congress was first notified by NASA that climate change was going to threaten my life and everyone here's life to come, and they did nothing. That is too much for me. And I will be damned if the same politicians who refused to act then are going to try to come back today and say we need a middle of the road approach to save our lives. That is too much for me. We cannot, and we will not accept anything less than a solution to save ourselves, and that's exactly what this is. Our history may be written, but our future is not. And we have every possibility in the world to change it. And cynicism about our future is exactly what the opposition wants. It's exactly what they want. They want you to think that it's too late. They want you to think that the future is pre-written. They want you to think that the power is too far imbalanced. And I'm here to tell you that all of those things are false. We are at a crossroads unlike any we have seen before. But the good thing is that the average everyday person has never been more powerful in human history than it is today. Never been more powerful. Between our abilities to educate ourselves, educate others, the abilities to win over our families, to have these conversations, to register and get people to the polls, to have people organize around issues, to elevate our collective consciousness about our racial history, about our nation's history, about our science, about everything that is bringing us to this moment. We have never been more powerful, and big money has never been weaker, and that is exactly why they are fighting so hard against the Green New Deal. We are fighting against a logic that says poisoning and giving communities cancer is okay if an oil company can post a Q1 profit, and we're here to say no more. What we are fighting against is a logic that says it is okay to pay someone less than they need to live, and we are here to say no more. And what we are also fighting against is a logic that says we can extract enough off of human life and our environmental resources to the point of destroying our own humanity just to post-profit no more. We will not accept that anymore. We cannot accept that anymore. For so long, this political paradigm that we have operated in has relied on us settling for less in order to, quote, win. And what that logic has gotten us to say settle for less in order to win caused us to lose 1,000 seats until recently the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And the idea that if we continue on that logic, that we will somehow win after years and years of losing is the definition of insanity. We cannot allow ourselves to be bullied out of our values anymore. And we do not have to be scared by demanding a living wage, by demanding health care for all people as we transition to an economy that is decarbonized, sustainable, and just for every American. But again, I cannot do this, but you can. We can together. It is going to take a level of organizing that we have never seen, but that is what we have been doing. We've already been pursuing levels of organizing that we have never seen. People say what is possible in electoral politics. People will vote for this. People won't vote for that. The turnout for the 2018 midterm primary was 19%. 19%. And everyone is talking about what is electorally possible. But here's another statistic. In New York's 14th congressional district, in that primary, we expanded the electorate by 68% over the last off-year midterm election. People will vote if there is something worth voting for. And a Green New Deal is exactly what that is.